Welcome to a place like no other, a minimum security prison nestled within the rugged embrace of mountains, where the sprawling views contrast sharply with the lives contained within. This facility operates not as a cage for punishment, but as a sanctuary for rehabilitation, a space where inmates are encouraged to rediscover their humanity. The air is punctuated by the distant clanging of metal doors and the soft murmur of voices, creating a backdrop that reflects the struggles and aspirations of those inside. As we step through these walls, we'll meet a diverse group of individuals, each with their own dreams, regrets, and paths toward redemption. With the aid of diary entries that pulse with emotion and layered soundscapes that breathe life into these narratives, we invite you to listen closely. Here, amid the echoes of confinement, stories emerge, revealing resilience and hope in the most unexpected places. Elena Thompson sits on the cold concrete floor of her cell, paintbrush in hand, as she gazes at the sprawling white walls around her. Each stroke of color feels like a whisper of freedom, loosening the grip of despair that often settles within her. "How did I end up here?" she writes in her diary, reflecting on the art-filled sanctuary she once shared with her students. The echoes of laughter and creativity from that time fuel her determination to create something beautiful, even amidst the iron bars. As she layers vibrant hues, she imagines an art program for at-risk youth, a dream that now feels both distant and essential. With each breakthrough in her art, she finds fleeting moments of hope. "I may be behind these walls," she writes, "but my spirit is free. Art transcends confinement. It can heal and inspire not just me, but everyone around me." In her diary, Samantha Sam Reed reflects on the moment that shifted her life's trajectory, the arrest that came after days of peaceful protest. The anger that propelled her into action now finds new channels behind bars. Here, she writes fervently about the injustices she witnessed, the faces of those she fought for, now etched in her memory. The prison walls, once a symbol of confinement, have transformed into a platform for her voice. She shares her vision of organizing discussions and forming alliances with fellow inmates to confront their shared experiences. Each entry ignites her defiance, turning despair into determination. Sam believes that even in isolation, they can amplify their voices, raising awareness about the systemic issues they all face. Her resolve becomes a rallying cry, a reminder that amid the silence of prison, the spirit of activism remains alive, nurturing hope and community in unexpected places. As the sun dipped behind the jagged mountains, casting elongated shadows in the common area, Jimmy Lynn sat at a small table, staring out the barred window. The ambient sounds of laughter and distant clanging reverberated through the hall, yet he remained in a world of his own. His diary entry from that day captured the whirlwind of emotions following his arrest, the disbelief, the anger, and the creeping sense of isolation. He wrote about the stark contrast between his former life as a tech expert and the uncertain future ahead. But confinement birthed a new ambition. The prison library became his sanctuary, each book an escape, a chance to grapple with the philosophical questions that had long haunted him. In the quiet evenings, he formed a study group with fellow inmates, sharing laughter, ideas, and moments of vulnerability. Their discussions sparked unexpected friendships, fostering a camaraderie that made the prison feel less isolating and more like a shared journey of redemption. In the stillness of my cell, I often find myself caught in a web of confusion, wondering how a life once filled with promise spiraled into chaos. My name is Jimmy Lynn, and my journey began with a hack that led me to these walls, yet I refuse to allow my confinement to define me. As I meticulously navigate the complexities of technology and ethics, I document my thoughts in a diary where philosophy intertwines with introspection. Each page is a testament to my relentless pursuit of knowledge, igniting discussions with fellow inmates about morality, freedom, and the essence of our existence. We gather in a small corner of the library, transforming it into a sanctuary of ideas, where friendships bloom like forgotten seeds in a barren landscape. In this shared space, we discover that even in isolation, the thirst for understanding can unite us, turning our isolation into a collective pursuit of meaning. Renee Walker often finds herself reflecting on her life before prison, a time filled with the fulfillment of caring for others as a nurse. The incident that led her here, a tragic complication with a prescription drug, haunts her, Yet, within the prison's sterile walls, she discovers an unexpected purpose. Through her diary, she documents her journey toward forgiveness, not just of herself, but towards the system that failed her. With quiet determination, Renee begins implementing wellness programs, introducing meditation and mindfulness techniques to her fellow inmates. As she guides them through breathing exercises, she sees transformation, their hardened faces softening, if only for a moment. Healing beyond regret, she writes, is not merely a mantra, but a lifeline, connecting her to those around her. In sharing her pain and lessons, Renee builds a community of empathy, reminding everyone that even in confinement, healing is possible, one breath at a time. As the days turned into weeks, Alina Thompson found herself hosting art therapy sessions, inviting other inmates into her vibrant world of creativity. The walls of the prison, once cold and sterile, began to warm with splashes of color and emotion. Together, they experimented with paint, clay, and canvas, transforming raw, bottled-up feelings into expressions of hope and resilience. In her diary, Alina reflected on how the act of creating art had become a lifeline, a way of connecting with women who, like her, carried their own burdens of regret and dreams unfulfilled. One afternoon, amidst laughter and shared stories, a timid inmate named Clara unveiled a piece depicting her struggle with loss. The room fell silent, filled with an understanding that transcended their circumstances. In that moment, a bond was forged, reminding Alina of the power of art not just as a personal escape, but as a means of building community, a lifeline that bridged the gap between despair and healing. Max stood by the entrance of the common area, observing the fragile camaraderie forming among the inmates. The atmosphere was tense, thick with the unspoken fears of a new arrival, a young man named Eli, barely 18, who wore anxiety like a shroud. Recognizing the boy's struggle to fit in, Mac felt an urge to step in. With a gentle smile, he approached Eli, offering a few words of encouragement, his deep voice conveying warmth that pierced through the chill of the prison walls. Over the weeks, Mac took Eli under his wing, teaching him not just about survival in prison, but the importance of empathy and understanding. As they shared their stories, a profound bond formed between them. The newfound trust sparked something powerful within the community, reminding everyone that the walls that confined them could also nurture strength and connection. Mac realized that by investing in Eli's growth, he was redeeming parts of himself that yearned for purpose in their shared reality. In the dimly lit common area, Samantha Sam Reed gathered a small group of fellow inmates, each with their own story of injustice and resilience. This week, her focus was on harnessing their collective experiences to inspire change. "We may be behind bars," she declared, her voice steady with conviction, "but our voices can still echo beyond these walls." As they sat in a circle, Sam encouraged everyone to share their journeys, turning anger into activism. Their stories unfolded like threads woven into a tapestry of defiance, each one adding depth and color to their shared struggle. Sam's heart swelled with hope as she facilitated a dialogue about the systemic injustices that had brought them here. United, they penned a letter detailing their dreams for reform, determined to send a message that would resonate beyond the confines of their prison. In this moment, isolation transformed into solidarity, igniting a fire of activism that could not be dimmed. As Jimmy settled into the rhythm of prison life, he found solace in the world of books, but it was the unexpected friendships that transformed his experience. The study group he initiated quickly became a refuge, filled with laughter and shared insights. In the confined space of the library, inmates from various backgrounds gathered, united by a thirst for knowledge. One afternoon, as they dissected a classic novel, a debate ignited over themes of justice and humanity. Jimmy listened intently as a burly inmate, once feared for his reputation, challenged preconceived notions, articulating profound ideas that left the group in awe. In that moment, Jimmy realized knowledge was a bridge, connecting him to those he once saw as different. Each session nurtured their bonds further, turning mere acquaintances into friends. These discussions not only enriched their minds, but also laid the groundwork for understanding, showing that even within these walls, they could build meaningful connections that transcended their pasts. Renee Walker reflects on the transformative power of forgiveness as she guides her fellow inmates through wellness practices. In her diary, she writes about the first meditation session she introduced, describing the way the quiet room embraced each woman as they sat in a circle, eyes closed, breathing in unison. The tension eased like the gentle flow of a river, creating a space for vulnerability that they had all been too afraid to explore. As the weeks passed, these practices became more than routines. They turned into lifelines fostering profound connections among the participants. Renee shares a poignant moment when a fellow inmate breaks down during a session, revealing the weight of her past regrets. Together, they navigate the murky waters of guilt and shame, uncovering paths to self-acceptance and healing. In this sanctuary of empathy, Renee discovers that healing not only mends her own spirit, but ignites a spark of hope in those around her. In the quiet moments before lights out, the weight of past decisions hangs heavy in the air, echoing in the hearts of those confined within these walls. Elena pens a heartfelt reflection on her betrayal of her own passion, realizing how easily art transformed from a vocation to a distant dream. Mac's diary reveals a similar struggle, as he grapples with the impulsive decision that led to a fateful night of violence, the guilt pressing down on him like an anchor. Sam channels her defiance into confronting the systemic injustices that brought her here, vowing to turn her anger into change, but mourning the complacency she once tolerated. For Jimmy, the act of hacking, a misguided rebellion, clouds his search for knowledge with regret. Lastly, Renee reflects on her unintentional role in a tragedy, seeking forgiveness as she guides fellow inmates towards healing practices. In their shared vulnerability, they discover that confronting their pasts is a necessary step toward liberation. As the weeks passed, the air within the prison walls buzzed with a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. Each inmate found themselves grappling with the duality of their experience, moments of connection overshadowed by the specter of isolation. Mac's protective instincts seemed to heighten as he observed the struggles of others, reminding him of his own longing for redemption. For Elena, standing before her vibrant paintings, the reality of her confinement clashed starkly with her dreams of art therapy programs for youth. Sam, ever the activist, fueled her passion for justice with rousing speeches, but the weight of solitude crept in during the quiet hours of the night. Jimmy's study group became a refuge, a place where ideas flourished despite prison bars, yet the fear of uncertainty lingered. Renee, guiding her fellow inmates through mindfulness exercises, constantly battled her own feelings of regret. Each of them clung to their visions for the future, determined to transform their confinement into a stepping stone toward a brighter tomorrow.